Tanzania's Dira 2050, building a long-term national vision.
Madam Program Director, conference organizers, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, thank you very much, organizers, for inviting me to participate in this year's Sigma Africa Summit and for giving the opportunity to return to Cape Town. I have visited this beautiful city a couple of times before, mainly as an academic and sometimes as an African tourist. And visiting Cape Town always offers an opportunity for cultural depth and historical reflection on the journey that Africa has traveled and still travels towards political, cultural, and economic liberation. And before, let me say just that my topic is not really about the gambling, but let me say two things about gambling in Tanzania. Gambling is growing, particularly the sports betting is very, very popular. And we have a fairly strong regulatory framework. And of course, the taxman will be the last person to want us to restrict gambling. In the context of my topic today, I should also say that Cape Town is actually a mirror of what Tanzania aspires to achieve over the next 2 decades, because by 2050, Tanzania will be predominantly urban, and Cape Town offers useful and practical lessons on the importance of building a capable, accountable, and performance-driven institutions to manage a large and dynamic urban population effectively. Dear ladies and gentlemen, in today's geopolitics and geoeconomics, every country and every region seeks to leverage its greatest potential to enhance competitiveness. And Africa possesses one such unparalleled advantage, and that is our people, especially our energetic, patriotic, entrepreneurial, and ambitious young population. When this demographic dividend is strategically aligned with our abundant natural resources, Africa stands uniquely for rapid and inclusive transformation. Nevertheless, this potential will not, of course, automatically translate into prosperity. We need a thoughtful vision and deliberative action to be able to create conducive policy and investment environment that will unlock our young people's potential. It is because of this that Tanzania embarked on a long-term planning process in which we sought to develop a national vision, and I'm happy that our colleagues from Malta requested us to share our experience. The importance of long-term planning includes, which is more important, the fact that we need to transcend political electoral cycles. Without long-term planning, we will be fixed in which after every electoral cycle, we restart, we reset our development journey. And Tanzania embarked into a new vision development process to try to avoid that. And of course, this was not the first time we had such development efforts. We have had previously 3 of them, and this is the new one. So the National Development Vision 2050 is the 3rd such efforts in our history of independence. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, the world today is changing at a very unprecedented pace with technological disruptions, climate change, demographic shifts, and of course, as we know, the unending global wars, which are pushing us to rethink our development journey. And our vision, which is called Dira 2050, is our response to that phenomenon. And this vision seeks to transform Tanzania into a prosperous, just, inclusive, and self-reliant nation with our overarching aspiration of becoming a $1 trillion economy by 2050. And we have had three main things to be able to achieve. Obviously, just like any other economy, the strong, inclusive, and competitive economy, promoting human capabilities, and ensuring that we're able to protect our environment and being resilient with regard to climate change. And we are leveraging a number of drivers, including logistics and infrastructure, of course, energy, and critically, digitalisation. And more importantly, ensuring that digitalisation becomes inclusive by including our colleagues in the rural areas. Research and development becomes key for that matter, and we're trying to enhance funding for African-based research and innovation. That is key. And obviously, as previous speakers have said here, we have to go beyond measuring progress with respect to economic statistics. We really have to focus on prosperity. That is more important to our people. In a way, the development of a national vision provides such an opportunity for profound self-reflection. And on our historical journey, while also enabling us to ensure that we're able to plan boldly for the future. It is a rare platform for forging national consensus and for forging a shared sense of direction. And for us politicians, a national vision is important because we are able to redefine political competition, in which the context shifts from debating the destination to debating the strategy, so that our journey, where we are going, we share. We only have to differ with respect to how do we reach there. I think that is fundamentally important. So I hope that going forward, gambling becomes a responsible industry contributing much more meaningful to our economies in Africa, but having a firm regulatory frameworks to ensure that our young people's behavior is properly monitored and regulated so that we are able to direct their energy into proper economic undertaking. Ladies and gentlemen, I once again want to thank the organizers for the opportunity to invite us to share in Africa, in this year's Sigma Africa Summit, and I hope that Sigma Africa finds a route in Tanzania, and I'm happy to see that our colleagues from the Tanzania Gambling Board are here, and I really like the work that you are doing, and I hope that some of those work will find a room in our country. I warmly invite you to visit Tanzania, which, as you know, is the home of Mount Kilimanjaro, the Africa's highest mountain, and the world's tallest freestanding mountain, with a permanent cap of snow, despite being very close to equator. But also Tanzania is a home to magnificent number of national parks, notably the Serengeti National Park, where we find the richest concentration of wild games and the most spectacular season game migration between Kenya and Tanzania. It is also a home to Zanzibar, the most famous spice paradise island in the world. I wish you very productive discussions. Thank you very much.